Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome back to FM22 Youth Factory. We're on episode 19. Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome back to FM22. It's Journeyman. We're on episode 19. We have our new intake as we go to begin the new season. We have 3 elite talents, a number of top talents. This group doesn't quite look as good as what we had last year or the year before, but it's still seen as a 5-star excellent intake, a quote-unquote golden generation. Regardless of whether they're quality or not, what it does offer this group is a few potential players for the future, and more importantly, a lot of players that we could easily cash in on. We have a league where young talents, many teams are willing to spend 10 to 20,000 on them. Breaking down the league rules, things are quite favorable for us to progress. Everything is done regionally. We have 5 regions. We are in the Southeast Asian region. There's the zone playoff and then the zone proper. The zone playoff is where we are currently. There's 11 teams that make this level. So there's 3 groups, 4, 4, and 3. We are in a group of 4. We play each one twice, so there's going to be 6 matches that we have. There's 11 teams in the group. Overall, that breaks down into 3 smaller groups. So that's going to give us, with a group of 4, 3 opponents. That's 6 matches, home and away, to then push on to the next stage. Now, there's no money at this level, but the games themselves, as we've already seen, come with a hefty price tag of filling your stadium. So there's going to be 3 times where we get to fill our stadium up, so that'll help bring in a little bit of money. Then if you qualify beyond that point, you're going to start getting money in some later rounds. However, the club does expect us to get fairly far. Fortunately, being that we play through the Southeast Asian region, even though our nation is very much down low in the rankings, so is all of Southeast Asia. So maybe we actually can push on, get a little bit further, and get into some stages of this thing that do come with a fair bit of money. Today we are on the road at United City. This is a Philippine squad out of Tarlac City, Tarlac, Luzon, Philippines. I've been there. I'm familiar with these guys, and I'm super excited to visit the stadium and visit the home city of my spouse. My wife is from Tarlac, so looking forward to this one. Of course, in the group, this is the bottom feeder. This is the low group. So the Philippines League, just for those who are not familiar with the Philippines League, right? Aren't you all familiar with them? It's like the Premier League. They're on every day. No, they're not. Most of you would be unfamiliar as we go very close early on in this one already. Couple shot attempts, just a couple of minutes in. Well, anyway, the Philippines League, the Philippines were really late to adopt the sport. While a lot of nations picked it up, Akono through, and there's the opener. Inside 5 minutes, that's Akono, and Zulfiandi sets him up for that one. Anyway, Philippines, one of the later nations to really pick up the sport and become active in it. So at a youth level, there's nothing. At a professional level, it's pretty minimal. In fact, what it really took to get the sport kick-started and get it going was a celebrity relationship. As odd as that is, that's what got the sport going. So as Akoto through, and there's a second. There was 2 brothers, and they are half Filipino, half English. They grew up in England, and they grew up down in the lower levels. National League, I think they may have topped out at League 2 level before getting noticed and being invited to be part of the national team program for the Philippines. And these 2 brothers, the Young Husband brothers, is their last name, they came to the Philippines and then ended up not just being national team players and the leaders of the national team, including, I believe, the captain, the better of the 2 brothers, who was not much better than the other, but slightly higher level. Well, anyway, they came over to instant fame. Handsome guys, and next thing you know, they stayed locally to play in the new league. As wow, that one was that side net. Interesting call. We got called for a foul on that one. It looked like it might have been in the back of the net. Well, anyway, or at least the keeper's shoulder into the back of the net. Eunice through. Save. But with the save on that one. Well, anyway, I guess that would be Padilla in the Philippines. It's Tagalog. It's not proper Spanish. It's Spanish mix. And they any double consonants get overemphasized instead of underemphasized like you get in Spanish. One of these brothers ends up dating one of the biggest actress/model celebrities in the Philippines, and that attention brought a ton of attention to the sport. The pro league at the time was 100% of that league contained within Manila, within the capital city. Now, there was a single team that was attached to the largest city of the neighboring island in Cebu, and that team was based out of Cebu, but they played in Manila as well, so their home was still technically Manila. Now, finally, just in the last few years, they've started branching out beyond that. So the league is definitely growing. The Philippines is growing more competitive. Internationally, of course, they have a good population base. As Sugang makes it 3 here inside half an hour, we are very, very comfortable in this one. Easily dominating the opposition here. But that being said, Philippines is improving, but has a long, long ways to go to be competitive on an international level and the league. Now, of course, if it was a playable league, you better believe that I would have been thrilled to start there. But it's not. And, there's no relegation or anything like that. There's only a handful of teams. It is what it is. But with that, I think we've probably got this thing under control. Zulfiandi. Palu, there's the cross. Sinji gets close, but Padilla making the save. And with that, I think we can now count on 6 points in the competition. That's a great start to the Asian Cup. We still have plenty of work to do. Eunice through. Looks like he might have been offside, and the flag is raised. He is counted offside just a minute before halftime now. Let's go ahead and push forward to the next match. We still have one more match before the season gets underway. And of course, just like that first match of the season, we have those 2 new defensive signings. But they were signed after the registration period and are unavailable, at least for this first phase. Hopefully, in the next phase, we will get an opportunity to sign them on. But it's been all us here. And we are up against Johor. Johor, the Malaysian opposition. So this is a very similar league, but slightly below us in rankings. What can Johor do? We are picked again as the favorite. We're at home for the second time. We have another huge crowd on hand. We'll see what we can do here in this one. This could really establish our position. Obviously, if we get 9 points from 9 halfway through the group phase, that's a real path to where you need to go. Anyway, for what's to come after the group phase, if we are to get beyond here, of course, again, we're looking good with 6 points. But what you're going to get is there's 3 groups. That was offside. Disallowed, I think he is. Correct call? Yes, just off the back shoulder there. I mean, we're talking barely, but Eunice is offside. But it's a good sign that we are all over them early on in this one. Anyway, 3 groups, 3 group winners. Out of 3 groups, the next highest placed, second place team. How they determine that, I don't know, because there's not an equal number of games played. So between 2 groups, that should be pretty obvious, but selecting that from the smaller group, I don't know how that group's supposed to come out ahead. But anyway, 4 teams move on. Those 4 teams will play a head-to-head semifinal in order to determine the 2 winners, and those 2 winners play the final to determine who gets out of the Southeast Asian region. So from this phase, what a goal from Zulfiandi. Wow, okay, it was almost halftime, and we were flying towards halftime. Wing back struggling, forward struggling. Definitely getting a challenge here, but Shinji Sugang lays that off for Zulfiandi. He doesn't have much space there. The guy doesn't close him down very fast, and Zulfiandi just blasts that straight into the back of the net. Anyway, to go from 11 to 4, we go close again. Febrianto making a very nice save there. 11 to 4 to 2 to 1. But again, all out of this region gives us a real shot, because the two leagues that are better than what we have, playable leagues in Asia, are not Southeast Asia. The other regions that definitely also add to the high rankings, because our nation ranks 27th in the Indonesian League in all across Asia. For this year, those rankings are going to be pushing up to 20th now, for whatever reason. So we had a little bit of success last year. Taraka apparently found some success, but that's not much. You can see it's been all us. XG-wise, though, only 0.5. Offensively, we haven't done much, yet we have 12 shots on target. So the XG seems only a matter of time that we'll do a little more with the chances we have created. But it is looking fairly comfortable at 2-0. So why don't we just push on ahead again? That looks like 9 points from 9, which really puts us in a strong position. It's 4-0 inside the hour. So we are definitely going to get the points that we need today, even though they offered a decent challenge. But meanwhile, Geelong and United City are tied at 2 at the same stage in their game an hour in. That's huge for us, because United City are the weakest team in the group. They shouldn't be scoring any points. First 3 matches of the Asian Cup out of the way. We're finally ready to begin the season. Before we do that, a look at our season preview. New man Kyononyes has made it to the best 11, but 4 opponents from Tira Persikaba, they are in that first 11, and that's the team to beat. That's the team to watch out for. The sucky thing for us is that Nugroho was a free agent. We tried to sign him. He ended up going to Tira instead. We had a deal, but he ended up choosing them. Also, Hamdi, who's been picked as one of the favorites to score the most goals in the season this year, did the same thing, left us, went to one of the other teams when we both had contracts agreed to with both of those, but they also agreed elsewhere and ended up choosing the other ones. So we missed out on that. But anyway, despite that, we still have made enough progress with the new defensive players and losing Lucas Gabriel that we're still seeing this year as 4th. We were mid-table last year, so that's big. 16-1 odds. We're finally looking to be in the position we have been. Can we rise above that? Because we've done that each of the last 2 years. We went from relegation favorite, who took 5th place. Then we went from mid-table to take 2nd. Now we're looking like a team that's good enough to take 4th. Can we take 1st? I don't know. Will we be around? I don't know. We keep looking for a job. One new thing is I've been able to branch out and start looking for jobs elsewhere. Late last season, when I saw that there was only 2 leagues that we could try, and we have not been able to get an interview in either one, despite 25 applications that we have submitted over the last year and a half, I decided to alter the league structure a little bit. I removed a few of the leagues, Singapore, Malaysia, India's, that we don't want to go to because they're a step back from what we have now, and added a bunch of American leagues, North and South American leagues. Liga MX in Mexico, the MLS, 2 of the more reputable ones, but then Colombia, Chile have also been added. So now we have 6 leagues to target jobs and search. Just increases the odds. Doesn't necessarily mean we're going to get the positions, because we just don't have much reputation. And it's hard to get that reputation managing in Indonesia. But hopefully with a new coaching badge, hopefully with the Asian Cup, that will help us build a little more reputation and get us on our way to a new destination. I'm going to save the season opener for next time. For now, our focus has been that Asian Cup, but What I'd also like to do before we wrap this episode up is I'd like to show you the new players that we have signed, starting with Kyononyes. You can see Kyononyes comes in as a fantastic product at center back. Very good speed, good physicalities, good defending, good mental, good aerially, which is a real problem in this league. Okay technicals. He's got no attacking or vision. He's pretty weak in those departments. But a passing of 8 isn't the worst we've seen. A vision of 5 isn't the worst we've seen, especially when he's got decision making of 11, positioning of 10, high work rate. This is somebody who's going to subtly contribute in that wide center back role, be able to distribute the ball. He's not going to make killer balls, but he'll help in the possession, which is a real strength of ours, because at this level in this league, just having that, even guys that are only semi-capable, adds so much more, because we're playing with 10 in the attack where others are only playing with 7 or 8. So Kyononyes gives us a real advantage. What Kyononyes also did for us is it really shows what we're offering. So he's coming from Colombia. He was playing in Colombia in a lower division to the point where he was on a non-contract. He was an amateur playing there. 28 years of age. He's at his peak. He's not really going to improve, but he's also not expected to drop off anytime soon. And he's a fairly determined player. I think for us, he's a steal. He's quite affordable because he's going from earning nothing to being paid to play, so he's happy to take that. And even though he doesn't have a lot of value, I mean, this is a steal. And he comes in as our new best player in the absence of Lucas Gabriel. Next up, we have Zulfiandi. He's already made 2 starts for us that we've seen. Great physicals, other than jumping reach. 5'9", okay. But for us, this is massive because as an Indonesian, he is the first player we've had who's actually on the national team radar. He's got 18 caps. He scored once for the national team, and we haven't had that before. And this guy is a significant upgrade in our midfield. Now, you can see he's not a terribly well-rounded player, but that's the problem with the Indonesian league. There just isn't much quality. It's a very low-level league, but he's got good speed. He's got good physicals. And what he does is that he's faster and more physical than the rest of our midfield. He's a better defender than the rest of our midfield. And then he has similar, if not better, mental than all of them. He's so much better in all of those areas. But then he's on par with the vision, with the attacking, with the technical abilities. Where they're not great, he can be just as good in the attack as all those other midfielders, but help us recover the ball. And with our play style, with our pressing, which nobody else really does in the league, he's offering us a whole different element that just doesn't exist with any of the others. And I'm excited for that. I've got him playing on the right side as a center mid in the support role. I may tweak that role at some point. I mean, you could see his best suited areas are box to box, and actually we do have a box to box role on the left side, so it's possible we might scoot him over there with those physicals, with that speed. He might be pretty good as a box to box kind of guy instead of just a straight center mid, and we could get even more out of him from that. And next we take a look at Febrianto. We've already seen Febrianto with 1 start and 1 appearance off the bench. Febrianto is just a backup fullback. But that wingback position has been so hard to fill as Indonesia just does not utilize it. And so there's almost no Indonesian wingbacks. And even though I've been searching and we've started finding players abroad, I've not been able to find wingbacks as of yet. So it's a bit of a nightmare trying to fill that position. Even though it is a bit of a nightmare filling that position, Febrianto is better than the guys we already had. Rinto Ali, Lestaluhu, and is capable. He's not natural, but he's capable. Not only on the left side, but fairly capable on the right side. So he becomes an excellent backup. He's great to have on the bench. He can fill in on either side. Marking, passing, tackling, crossing are all tolerable. And he makes pretty good decisions, and he's got good vision. So with 14 pace, that adds up to being a fairly underrated player. He's not great technically. He's not great with the mentals. This is not a strong player. This is definitely a weak player on the roster. But he does just enough, especially when you throw in the vision and attacking that the other wingbacks don't really have. They can kind of play defense. They're also kind of slow. He's not slow, and he can kind of contribute in the attack, and that's huge for us. But anyway, for the reason why I stick with the wingbacks is that even though the wingbacks haven't done much and it's been really hard to fill the position and their ratings have been relatively low, it's what it does for the rest of the team. But our greatest strength and what they give us is that by having them out there, I'm able to overload the midfield. I'm able to have 3 center mids. And center mid is a strong position in Indonesia. You have so many short players that you get a center mid in a little more gifted technically, who has a little more mental fortitude. And with 3 center mids, we are constantly controlling possession against anybody in the league, regardless of their quality. And that's been the difference. But having the wingbacks there is what's allowing us to have that advantage. And that's why our tactic works. And that's why even just a marginal gain in a Febrianto is really good for us. Last up, we have Kabula. Kabula, you can see, is very much a central defender. Not a wide center back. Again, that's not a utilized position here. And Kabula compared to Masirin, they both, I want both of them in that central role more than anything else. But Kabula, the last one we added, overall, the bravery, the positioning, the heading is huge. And the reason for that is he's Angolan. He's not Indonesian. And so even though he's short for an Angolan at 6'2", comparatively here, that's a tall player. He's got good jumping reach at 10. And that heading of 14 means he's absolutely going to dominate headers. He's going to give us a lot of advantage there. He's strong mentally. He's very strong defending. And he's got enough pace, especially when you add in an acceleration of 14 and an agility of 12. Pace at 10, yeah, it's so-so. Strength of 5 is definitely a weakness for him, and we can maybe work on that. He's only 23, so he's got plenty of room for development, and we definitely had to pay a bit to bring in Kabula. But with him and Masirin, I'm pushing out. And the good thing with Masirin as well, Masirin doesn't have the vision, doesn't have much in terms of passing. He can still just about get away with helping keep possession. He's not going to be dangerous going forward or anything. But Kabula is such a strong defender. Not strong as in physical strength, but strong as in quality in the areas that matter. Marking, okay, yeah, you could ask for a little more in his marking ability. But the tackling, the heading, the bravery that he has, this guy is going to be a beast for our club. And that ultimately means we have 3 excellent players to replace Lucas Gabriel. And that's the one area we got to be concerned, though, is we are taking a step back in the forward position. But how was our distribution to set up the forwards? Before, yeah, it was iffy. We had that midfield. It was good. They created chances. But we had balanced scoring between Akono and Gabriel. Now Akono is going to have to pick up that load, and Eunice is definitely going to have to step up. And that's going to hurt a little bit, replacing that, filling that void. But our defense is going to be so incredibly strong. We're going to keep even more possession than we did. I think our percentage numbers are going to be pretty crazy this year. At our midfield, especially adding in a guy who can help recover the ball and create chances, I think we're going to be a pretty dangerous team this year. I think we're one to watch out for. Will I still be their manager later in the season? I don't know, but I am excited for what's to come. That is going to do it for this episode, though. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Bye for now.